94.3 WIBC, the rhythm of the city and home of the Juan Castillo Morning Show. Good morning, New Haven. This is Moving Target. I'm your host, Jay Kemp. And with me, as always, is my comrade, first and foremost,
yes, sir,
and a huge fan of Tekashi 6ix9ine, Remedy Sharif.
Super Saturday, first of all, let's just dispel that. I can't even go to the life lessons, blessings, and love, but let's just dispel that, man. There's no Tekashi's around here. I don't know how that brother started early.
You didn't know I was coming with that.
This is by surprise, man. I was about to start.
Whoa, man. Yes, sir. Super Saturday, y'all. How's everybody feeling?
Good. Of course, we got King Spence in the building. What's
going on, New Haven? What's up?
So yeah, man, we're gonna have a good show, a packed show, actually. We're gonna do something different today. All right, so after we go over a couple things, I want to put it out to the people. We're gonna open up the phone lines, all right? And we're gonna do something different. It's not necessarily get it off your chest or anything like that, but it's more about what is on your timeline. If there's something on your timeline that you feel like we have to address, your Instagram timeline, Facebook timeline, or even your Twitter feed, I want you to call us up 203-562-9430. Don't bring no mess. All right, we're talking about stuff that's empowering the people, things that people need to be aware of. So what is on your timeline? Call us up 203-562-9430. All right. And before we get into more parts of the show, I want to also let it be known to teens, parents, uncles, aunties, grandparents, let your teens know, okay, that there is an apprenticeship program that's going on at Next Haven. All right, it's the building that's right across from Hill House. If people don't know, this building was created by Titus Kaphar. Y'all know who Titus Kaphar is?
Somewhat.
So Titus Kaphar is a world-renowned artist. And this is the thing about New Haven, man. We got to know we have a legend right in our city, all right, that is a world-renowned artist. He opened up this building. This building, you would look at it and you would think this is something for Yale. But it's not for Yale. It's for us. It has a black box theater. It's a co-working space. It has so many things that are going on in there. And then they also have artists in there that are world-renowned, on-job training for young people to come in. They don't need to be artistically inclined. They just need to come, have the work ethic that they need to practice, and get paid to get on-job training and learn new skills. All right, so the applications are out right now. They are closing on October 31st. All right, so for more information on that, make sure you go to our Facebook page. We're going to be posting a link. And as a matter of fact, if you want to know more about these studios, it's open to the public for the first time. These artists are going to show the work that they're working on. They're going to show the pieces that they're working on. Unbelievable work. I mean, I walk in there. I'm the apprentice coordinator, so I know what they've been doing. I walk in there and I see what they're doing, and I'm like, yo, I get to walk in and see masterpieces being put up. Black women, black men that are just doing dope work. So they're going to be doing a tour this Sunday from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m., and it's going to be led by the apprentices that we have there. So you go through there, you'll get a nice tour of what they're doing. And it's right across from Hill House, right on Henry Street. All right, so come through this Sunday, 12 to 6. Find more out about that and find more about the apprentice program. And don't miss the opportunity. It's gonna be great, man.
Hey, listen, if somebody wants to take part in that, who do they need to contact, or what do they need to,
well, they could contact me, J at nexthaven, nexthvn.com.
That's what's up, man. Dopeness.
All right, so let's get it moving, though. So we got a special guest in the building who's going to join us in the conversation. We got Sabrina Renee. What's up, Sabrina?
Hello, everyone.
It's good to have you with us.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Oh, you got to speak into the mic.
Oh, it's good to be here.
Yeah. Well, we in the morning time, so you can put the nice voice on. I like that. You know what I mean?
A little sultry.
Mellow us out a little bit.
All right.
So there's a lot of things I want to talk about. First and foremost, man, I want to salute Tyler Perry. Because I don't care what you might think about, ways that he's portrayed certain, people as far as men, and I've heard always people have critiques about Tyler Perry, including myself.
Yeah.
But what he did was bigger than just opening studios.
Yeah.
He basically he opened up a whole new lane for us to tell the stories we want to tell.
Yeah.
You know, and if you really go back to the history of Hollywood, just go back, and even Hollywood itself, the Hollywood is the wood that they would burn for witchcraft and things of that nature.
Right.
So even if you go back to the history of how the idea of Hollywood began, it was to tell the mass public a story of America.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even if you take Birth of a Nation and the way that they use the propaganda through that, I mean, they have always been and will always be effective in telling the story of America. And we sit in the movie theaters, you know, probably the only place where we get hypnotized. You know what I mean? Like, we're in the dark, bright screen. We're sitting there taking it all in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And now he opened up a mass studio where we can tell our stories on a huge production level.
Right.
Nothing small, nothing, I mean, mass level.
And then did you see how what he did was he built a compound on it?
Yes.
And got the some of the youth that is able to come through and learn from these different things and be taken care of, have their children, they got daycares,
it's amazing.
and all these different things, man. Tyler Perry, salute to that man
Salute.
right there, bro.
I think the most interesting part about it was that the land that he created on was actually
Confederate Army base.
Yeah, man. Everything was strategic.
Poetic justice.
Everything was strategic, man.
Yeah.
And that's something to really take and behold of.
I love it, and you know, we need to know that even in our small city, we have to do the same thing. We have to go grab our land and go grab our property and make our little studios to make our stories.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's media ownership and media literacy is some of the vital weapons we need when we talk about progressing, when we talk about enlightening and getting people activated.
Right.
That's what we need.
Who was it? Dave Rockefeller. I mean, he had the famous quote. He said, "We're going to control the mass of people because we control the media."
That's it.
That was back in. That was years back. Sorry, I can't quote the year, but that's a factual something that he says. Factual quote.
Yeah.
We're going to control the mass of people because we control the media, man.
Yeah.
So it's huge.
I do recommend people to go back and really look at the history of Hollywood and how the studios began and the intention and everything. You know what I'm saying? So this is really groundbreaking, man.
Yeah.
When he did that, and when I saw how big it was, I was like, man, this is so massive.
Yes, it
this
is.
changes the game completely.
Yes, it is.
You know, so salute to him. But I want to first go to our first topic, something that's on my timeline that I want to talk about. I do want to talk about Joshua Brown. I saw that, and Tammy Kemp, which is that judge. But we kind of...
It's your auntie?
That is not my auntie. That is not my auntie.
Tammy Kemp.
You know what? No. No. I made that very clear last week. There's no relation.
I think she don't want to make the potato salad.
Listen, she better
She
know.
don't want to make the potato salad. Huh?
If she made the potato salad, she made it wrong.
She got that dimple on her arm. You see? I think it's
So, yeah, but I do want to talk about something that was on my timeline was Kanye West. So I want to just go into real quick what Kanye West said. All right, and I want to see what y'all thoughts are. He said that's the Republican Party that freed the slaves.
Oh shit. Because I chose my right. And then we got the right? We got our own right to our own opinions, right?
See, we can't really hear it too well. It's kind of muffled. But he basically was saying that Abraham Lincoln, that was the Republican Party that freed the slaves. And then he's saying that I have a right to choose who I want to choose, and I never chose because of a color, and that's a form of slavery when you are put in a box because you choose Republican or Trump, you know, because you're black, as if because you're black you shouldn't be going for Trump, you know. And a lot of people, he's getting flack for it. He's getting a lot of shame for it. A lot of people are calling him a coon and saying that he's, you know, selling out, and
you should be used to it by now.
Yeah, I mean, we should be used to it, but I don't think it's a problem.
Nah, well, I mean, what he said actually is true. You shouldn't be put in a box or choose because of color. You know what I mean? That could do yourself a lot of harm. But however, I think it's most of his antics, along with him saying that, his other antics. You know what I
other
mean?
Antics?
Him. Just his disposition on how he's like, to me, he's taking advantage, you know, coming out with the religious thing and all of that like that. If you're really, how sold in are you? What are you really doing for the communities? What are you really doing back home in Chicago on something that's touchable and seeable? You're just out here now trying to, and then you way out there in Utah, man. It's like, you know, not saying that there's none of us in Utah, but
why did he choose Utah to say that? Was that a strategic political thing?
I don't know. He's picking some weird cities. I know he picked Wyoming to do one of his
release party, right?
Yeah, so maybe it's just like
a Midwest thing.
Midwest rule.
Well, I know. So I mean, I don't know how much this has anything to do with it, but I know Kim Kardashian has been doing a lot of work, right? Mm-hmm. And I know Trump sat down with her and pulled some strings for her. So I don't know. Maybe this was a deal that he made with Kanye. Like, look, I'll do this for your wife, and I need you to be out there getting me that black vote.
Yeah, that's seeable. That's definitely seeable, man. But everything with these folks, these entertainment folks, it's a line that needs to be drawn. Either you over here or you over there. And I don't trust none of them, really, man. I don't trust none of them. When you're dealing in that world, you know, my mentality is, man, if it ain't a real target on your back, then you out there, then you taking part in what that whole entertainment scheme is.
So you mean you don't trust any of them as far as entertainers or celebrities?
The celebrities, the entertainers. I mean, there's very few that show, you know what I mean, what they stand for. They literally show it. They even do or say some things that we be like, yo, will they be around next year? They might get, you know, killed. It might be a target.
Like who would you say? I mean, because I feel like we put a lot of pressure on entertainers to use their platform the way we feel they need to be using it. And when they don't use it that way, we make this judgment. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost like that thing, what we say, to whom much is given, much is required. So if you look at as a whole, right, if we look at the situation amongst people of color, then when you have that platform, it's not just about like that's how we think you should use it, but it's like, yo, what's real? What's the most important thing is that we out here losing our lives, let's say, to our own selves. We committing the acts upon ourselves. We losing our lives to police. We losing our lives to the drug epidemic. Look at what America has done to people of color, just a total attack on people of color. So if you have that platform, how are you not out in front really drawing a line and saying this is what I'm going to do and this is how we're going to do it?
So, I mean, go ahead, Spence.
I think some people's money's on the line. I feel like once you get to a certain status, you know, you're looked at to do certain things. You know, you can't speak. I mean, you can choose to speak out, but, like, I think there's other forces that work against them. So, like, they're not, you know, able to freely speak out on those issues, you know. Compared to us, you know, I can say something about, let's say, just like, you know, black oppression and stuff like that. Obama, like, when he was presidency, like, let's say that was his agenda, you know, I think he would get a lot of flack for it because, you know, there's other people looking at him, you know, he can't say those things.
You gotta be willing to take the flack. You gotta be, if you ever get to a point in life where your money means more to you than the life of your own people or of people in general, if you ever get to that point where material things in life mean more to you than the lives of people, then you are sliding down the rabbit hole, man. You're going a whole nother direction.
I agree. I just think, you know, because I'm not in that position to speak, you know. I've never held that amount of money in my hand before, so it's like a different world up there.
And I think it's a lot easier for us to say that when we're not
comfortable
looking at a whole lot of money that's going to help not just us, but our families. And it's going to give us more money to build more infrastructure, financial infrastructure and things in the community, right? We don't know what it looks like to say, okay, I have to keep my integrity. And I think that's what it comes down to. When you're an artist or a celebrity, how much can you do it with integrity? You know what I'm saying? Because in that sense, you know, I think that's the only thing we can really put on an artist is how much does their integrity stay intact. But I don't know how much activism we should be putting on celebrities to really do.
I feel like they better run real quick, man, because we gotta recognize this. Celebrities and entertainers have one of the most powerful things. They have a voice that could reach the masses of people. It ain't even about their bread. It's about the voice you have. When your voice can reach people in the magnitude that these celebrities and entertainers' voice can really reach people, then you have that. That's your platform.
Mm-hmm.
So for any, whoever this may come across, and most high willing, it'll come across some people that have big pockets or big ears or big voices, let's say. Here's a little thought from Moving Target. Get on the low and go fund somebody in the hood that could really use their voice to another level. If you're worried about your pockets, don't let it be known. Don't let it be known that you keeping this person afloat and hitting them off, and let their voices start being heard, because if you feel like your voices can't. So go arm somebody.
So Sabrina, you were gonna say something? I thought you were okay. I think, but also, man, when it comes to Kanye and what he's saying, I don't believe what he's saying is wrong. I think I'm actually happy that he's actually telling people, look, think for yourself. Think for yourself. Stop trying to follow the crowd. You know what I'm saying? Of, oh, I'm gonna go Democrat because I'm black. I'm not gonna go for Trump because I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Did you see the young people that were praising Trump at the there was a rally that was going on for young black
it was some
entrepreneurs or something of that nature. I want to pull that up. But yeah, people said that they were selling their soul, these young people, and I'm like, why? Wouldn't it be more because they were thinking for themselves? And don't we want people to do that? Don't we want even ourselves to do that, even if we don't agree?
Right, you definitely have to think for yourself, man. I mean, you're 100% on that. And, sometimes people, we just always wonder, you know what I'm saying? What I feel like with all people, man, what we don't do enough is look at the motive behind that person that's doing that thing. Like, why did Trump really pick the time to have that, the thing that they had at the White House, and we forget the name of it. Yeah, but why did he pick the time to do that? Look at him getting ready to get impeached. Is he really, really concerned about the state of people of color? Well, I would say no, man. I would say no. So they're going to do things to shift the attention away from other things to make it look like, hey, look at me. I'm out here doing this, that, and the third. Nah, man. Get out of here, Donald.
Yeah, so it was
get out of here.
It was the Young Black Leadership Summit.
Donald
it was a Young Black Leadership Summit on Donald Trump, and it said we have a lot to lose because he has done so much for the black community. And these are the young people saying this. So I mean, can we really look and say that that's not true?
Can we really look and say that it is?
Yes.
What has he done so much that he's done for the black community?
He funded a lot of businesses. A lot of black people are employed. You know what I mean? Like, the unemployment rate is lowest it's ever been. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the actual facts, right, but I know that there are a lot of things that he has done. The First Step Act happened under his watch. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, and granted, I think also another point to that is that there's a lot more that he could do that Obama wasn't going to be able to do because he's white. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's also something that needs to be looked at.
I mean, I think Obama dumbed down a lot. I really do. When it comes to us, our people, I think Obama dumbed down a lot. He could have did a way, especially in his last 2 years, when his term was coming to the end. He was supposed to go hard body, like, yo, I'm leaving here anyway. Later for what they think, whatever. I'm going hard body.
You should have started giving everything away.
Everything, yo.
They said, like, he should have took it, monotone the first term, and then the second one he should have went in.
Yeah,
but still, man. Donald Duck, nah, man, he don't get that. He don't get that, man. He look.
On paper, though, he do. That's on, and this is what these young people are looking at, man. They're actually going in and doing the work. We're talking from emotions.
Yeah, but on the flip side, because Donald is our president, we're more
your president.
Oh yeah, well,
he's yours too.
No, he may be the president.
We're getting killed more openly. Racism is more, is more in your face now, where it used to be a little bit, slick on the low. But now, because we have Donald, overseeing the United States of America. It's different now. We're starting to see how people really feel.
You think?
So
You mean
I
from
think
the
that
2010s or like 2000s, when you said more prominent, like more openly racism, or like
I ain't got no time set. All I'm saying is that
Okay.
now that, because I'm not even into politics, I will never vote again because I know it's not for me. It doesn't matter. Politics don't affect my life personally. I know it won't. So
On a national level or grassroots level?
I'm gonna control my life. But that's not this conversation. That's a whole.
It could be, but so you on a grassroots level though, you don't look into voting?
Nah, I would never vote. Like every time I voted, I regretted it. I had to sit down, think about it, and when I was, that ain't this conversation. But what I'm saying is, we got to think about what's the catch 22?
The pros and cons.
You know, what am I getting? What's the trade? It's like a barter service. Okay, you gave us this, but in return, we getting killed, yo.
I mean, I would.
And racism is more prevalent in our face now because you are the president, and they feel like it's okay now because look at you.
I think it was prevalent during Obama too. I mean, you got to remember there was a lot of
worse
police.
now, though.
I think it's worse too, man. I do. I think it's worse. Every time you turn around, yo, every time you turn around, like before it was happening, we know that, and we didn't have cell phones and cameras to capture all these things. So a lot of things we just didn't see, and it was still going on. But now, since the Donald Duck been president, we are literally seeing every time you turn around, even common white folk is just they pulling their guns out on us.
But
crazy
do
stuff.
you think that's because? What I do think is that because of Donald, I think because of him and because of his presence and because of his rhetoric, the conversation of racism has been more prevalent. So media is going to spot every story that is going to be associated with racism because now it's sensationalized and it's going to be put in our face more. I do believe that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't believe that we are now being killed more because of it. I don't believe racist attacks are happening more because of it. I believe now media is putting more attention to it and we are the ones looking at it saying, oh, look, it's happening. Now, when I hear white people say that, I hear white people say more, oh, well, it's only now racism is happening more. And I'm like, nah, this has been going on. The thing is media outlets now are looking at it as these are hot stories. Ooh, another racist story. Put it up.
I could agree with that. But I also feel like it's happening more. I agree with that. Is you be seeing it more and all of that stuff. But I still feel because you got the president of America standing up there with some of the rhetoric he spewed, literally fueling these people, man. These people feel like really emboldened to now go out here with no hesitation.
There's no doubt on that. But again, I don't believe that now all of a sudden more racist attacks are happening. That's just not the case. These racist attacks have been happening for years. If we really go back, it's been so much in our face and happening so much at an alarming rate. It's just now we see the stories more.
So you know,
it's almost like you know what? It's almost like it's like me saying when it comes to the Me Too movement. You know what I'm saying? Like me saying that there's more sexual assaults on women now,
right?
Because of Donald Trump,
right,
and the way and the rhetoric he spews because of that and how he treats women. But we know that's not the case. What it really is now is Me Too, hashtag Me Too became a huge movement.
Right.
And so now there's more and more journalists and people who are using their platforms to now bring those stories to light.
Right.
So they're more in our face. But I do see the stories of women being assaulted and being, and those that coming up more now than ever before. But that's not to say that it's more.
So for next show, what we're gonna do, I'm gonna try to just maybe it could be 5 minutes real quick just to catch it again, but try to put some statistics to it. That's what we'll do.
I mean, yeah, we can look up something now. You know what I'm saying? But I think again we could easily be misled by the way mainstream media is pushing the stories.
The story.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we could be. I still hold fast to think that it's also, you know, happening more. But I definitely understand where you coming from, and we can't say definitively that what you're saying is not true. You know, we can't definitively say that. So, you know, but I still think it's happening more, man.
I think we do see it more, and yeah, those stories are coming out more.
I'm with Jay on this one. I do see your side though. Like, I just feel like a lot of the stories are coming more to light because, you know, that's what gets clickbait. That's what gets clicks nowadays. Just race triggering, racial killings and stuff like that. So, but you know, all throughout time, all throughout history, you know, racial attacks have happened all the time. I think, you know, we don't know what happens down south. You know, sometimes we might even see a story about someone getting lynched in the open, like a hidden field.
Yeah,
but, you know,
it's out there.
Yeah, but like sometimes it's not ever like it's not always reported. So I think now more than ever, you know, because of Trump, you know what he stands for, his politics, his identity, these stories are coming more to light.
But I don't think Kanye should be shamed or put in a box as a coon, or as somebody that is selling out of some sort because he's speaking his truth on when it comes to these politics. You know, I think where he went wrong was the statement of slavery was a choice. You know, I do think Kanye has some issues of being able to articulate some things, no doubt. You know what I mean?
He had an interview with Charlamagne the God, and he actually explained what he meant by that. I mean, figuratively, like he meant, it is a choice. Like you could have died, you could have jumped ship and died.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not saying that it was a good choice. Like, but you still have the power to like get off that ship. You know, die with your pride.
And not to cut you off, King Spence, man, young King Spence, but anybody that ever makes a statement that slavery is a choice needs to be choked out.
I think
he was slavery back then.
Even back then, for you to say it was, if you.
But right now, it is a choice.
If you make a choice, if you make a statement that slavery is a choice, you need to be choked out, man. Because I'm gonna say this, even to right now, we are suffering from mental health issues so bad. Like, I think people don't really even understand some of the choices that we're making. Our mental health is torn apart.
Agreed.
So even to say that it's even a choice now, to me, it's like, yo, are you kidding me? Some of the decisions that we make, look, we don't have access to mental health people to help us understand our family makeups, understand oil. We don't even know that if you know, your ancestors at some point slept with your other ancestors, and that's why you have some type of mental block or whatever the case may be.
Let's go to a phone call real quick. Let's go to a phone call. Oh, nope. Okay, all right, yeah, they might have hung up. Yeah, good hit drop. Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I think it's a choice to that, you know, to a state where it's like you might not know that you have mental health issues. You might not know how to identify that thing. There's brothers I know right now that are depressed, that are dealing with anxiety, but they don't know to call it that. You know what I'm saying? That's understood. But there is still a wealth of information. Those same people that might feel like that, women and men, there's a wealth of information that they come across where it's either they're going to take it and actually apply it, or they're not. It's either they're going to go to certain resources that are put in front of them to choose to. Those resources weren't there back then. But in our day right now, you know what I'm saying? There are resources that people can actually go and say, you know what, let me look into what they can offer me.
So how do you expect...
That's a choice.
So how do you expect a person, how do you expect me to even make that choice? Making that choice is a whole thing in itself. Being able to make that choice and say, how you expect me to look at something and say, they looking at it like, I don't need this. I'm not sick. Nah, no, you really sick. Mentally you sick. And then but you looking at a thing and you saying, well, that's not for me. I don't need that because I'm not sick. My reality is different from common sense. Ain't common sense no more. You can't rationalize with things that are irrational.
So you're saying, so what you're saying is you're saying that people who are enslaved in their mind today, they have no ability to make a choice for themselves to actually come up out of that.
I feel like it's different degrees of it. Right? And each one is on an individual basis. We don't know a person.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying? So
that's
it's different degrees.
But then you got to say that. because you made a blanket statement.
Right.
You said it is not a choice for today.
Right.
And when you say that, you can't say that because that's on an individual basis. So if somebody is dealing with with severe depression where they are not getting up out of their bed, they do not want to wake up, and they have nobody around them that's actually being able to somehow provide them with options that they could do or even pull them out. Here is where they're so crippled by their illness that they aren't using or exercising that choice. That's an individual thing. But I know people who are functioning very well, but they're dealing with certain roadblocks within their mental illness that's crippling them from being able to take certain steps that they got to make to get better. You know what I'm saying? And the reason why they don't do that is from habits that they have occurred from all these years, from certain narratives they have in their mind, and those are things that can be fixed, that they know could be fixed, and they have the well-being to be able to make that choice, and they don't.
So the reason why I make that blanket statement is because I'm looking at for what we've been through. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and say you don't know till you show me different. Like you said, you know people. So that brings it to the individual basis. So if you know people,
and I'll say individually,
then they have shown you. But like, you know, even when we was working in the hood on a regular basis and we going out and we dealing with the different mindsets of some of our youth and some of our young people, I used to give all of them the benefit of the doubt. I used to, you know, you're not doing what you're doing because this is what you wanted. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt until you show me different. When I work with you, when you show me that you really got some common sense, and it's like, nah, bro, you making that choice. You show me that you could think for yourself and you got common sense. You just want to go that, then I deal with you like that.
But that comes down to, again, working with that individual. So again, the blanket statement that Kanye West made on slavery is a choice for back then cannot be applied at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was not a choice. You know what I mean? They were forced, you know, unless you want to say there was a choice of saying, yo, I choose death. I'd rather choose death. But when you got your family and all that, you know, those circumstances, we know what was going on.
So then I would think
in the day that we live in today, when it comes to even the young people, you know, there's a love. We always focus on whether they're being compliant or obedient. We need to make sure that they know that they're loved first.
Right. Absolutely.
Once they know that they're loved, now they could start making some effective choices. I guarantee if a child knows that they're being loved, they start to now connect certain things, and certain choices that they know are better for them, they'll start making those. But I'm talking about, but really when it comes to grown adults, there's a certain mindset that has been developed over years that, yes, is crippling them, but there are resources that are constantly put in front of them. And I know this. I could make a blanket statement like that because there's so many organizations out here that are putting out information. But it is a choice to say whether you want to stay in that mindset and live that same life or not. That's a choice. That is a choice.
But you don't think that even making that choice once again is a mindset that shows the enslavement, and they're not able to objectively make that choice to say I'm gonna get that help, because we know how shameful it feels from our community to go seek mental health help.
Sometimes it's not mental health though.
I mean, no,
you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's just a matter of you know, applying yourself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like sometimes it's really that. You know, but I can't say that in the day that we live in that we don't have a choice to shift the mindset that we have. You know what I'm saying? I can't say that.
Even back in the day, we had opportunities to shift. You could have went and joined the Nation of Islam.
I'm talking.
You could have went and joined Martin Luther King and raising yourself up.
Yeah, but that's that era. I'm talking about what Kanye was referring to, which was the slave, was back in the slave times. You know what I'm saying? Slavery was a choice. No, that's the wrong statement to be making. You know what I'm saying? But in today's era, we do have a choice.
I still think it's wrong to make a blanket statement saying slavery is a choice, even for today's era, because that statement, making that a blank statement, covers even the ones that it's not a choice for. Because you know what I'm just like when you said.
Okay, let me ask you this: if there's options, right, and we know that there's options,
right?
Do options constitute now you having a choice to make?
Yes, it is.
There's options here. In the time that he was talking about, there were no options.
But why are you not? But see, that it still goes back to my thing of saying you have to individually understand those people. Why are you not making that choice?
Let's go to a phone call real quick. 94.3.
Hey, this is the Moving Target Show.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
All right. Am I live?
Yes, you are. Who we speaking with?
This is Black Nerd.
Oh, what's up, Bamf? What's up, Bamf?
Yes, sir.
I'm all right, man. Hey, listen, I overheard y'all talking about something, and I just want to say, like, you know, saying slavery is a choice. It's hard for people to swallow just because it's saying that we wanted that to happen to us. You know what I mean? Or to people who were enslaved. But I say this, there's a lot of truth in that statement. Like, there's a movie coming out about Harriet Tubman.
Mm-hmm.
There's a Nat Turner movie. And a lot of people, you know, I wish they'd do a movie about John Brown. But when these people went to go get slaves, or people who were considered slaves, everybody didn't want to go. Not everybody thought that there was something wrong. And if you don't think or know that something's wrong, then you don't think something's wrong if you're making that choice to stay. There's a lot of people Harriet Tubman put down when they went to go rescue people. Like, yo, you're not coming? No problem. But we can't leave you alive, man, because you're going to get us caught.
Right.
Nat Turner, too. John Brown, too. And any freedom fighter.
Right.
If you break into prison now and open up all the cell walls, all the cell doors, everybody not leaving.
Right. Man, let me ask you, do you think Kanye is wrong for voicing what he says about, you know, how his support for the Republicans and Trump? Do you think he's wrong for that?
I think Kanye got his angle on things, and he sees things that not everybody might be privy to.
Mm-hmm.
So I think at times when he makes statements or whatever, or his way of supporting people or who he wants to support, we might not understand it.
Right.
Privy to, you know, we don't see it like he sees it. So it's easy for us to stand on the side, make comments. The media is gonna help us make those comments.
Absolutely.
Know? And you know, like you guys are talking about the racism earlier, you know, this race thing, man, this race thing and misogyny is like the big money makers in this country right now.
Yeah,
you know,
big topics.
As far as like media and news and everything. So whenever there could be a new story, a better story, a more controversial story, you know, you're gonna hear about it.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't necessarily know what Kanye's trying to do or what he's doing, so I can't necessarily toss him up under the bus.
Right.
I think it's a little strange at times because it's not very clear what's happening.
Yeah,
but,
no, it's not.
You know, I guess as we get further down the road, we'll see what it was or what it is. You know what I mean?
What about the young people that were praising Trump at the at the event that they did recently? You know, and speaking about how much he did for the black community. Do you feel like those young black people are brainwashed, or do you think they're just thinking for themselves?
What I think is Ronald Reagan was the head of the Actors Guild right before he became president.
Mm-hmm.
And while he was president, head of the Actors Guild. I think all of these people are actors, man. And there's no way to prove that they're not. You know, I don't know where these people are coming from, but a lot of them are actors, I believe. But for those who do support Trump, I mean, if you're going by just statistics, not the fact that a lot of times Barack Obama's hands were tied and they wouldn't let him make moves, you know. But if you're just going by what has happened, I mean, if you put them side by side, then you know you may have a point,
right?
You know, but I don't know. I don't know where this support for him is coming from with young
black. Yeah, there's a lot of young black Americans that are actually supporting Trump, and I have to, again, I can't lean on the fact that they're selling out. I have to look at the fact that there is another side of this, of us thinking critically for ourselves. You know what I'm saying? And it's, you know, and these are young black people. You know, like, isn't it damaging to now all of a sudden, as a mass of people, say, "Oh, you selling out," because they're thinking for themselves?
I mean, yeah, it's hard. You definitely can't just say, yo, they're selling now. I think that's right. You know what I mean? They're not. You know, you can't say that. But at the same time, you know, I look at it like this, man, and I feel like I wish our people that were standing with him in the White House would look at it like this too. Trump, you want to show us you do something? Go get the same amount of kids as you had in the White House from the ghetto. Go get them kids that don't have nothing.
How do you know what these kids have? You don't know where these kids come from. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing, man. You know, we have to be careful that just as much as we talk about revolution, talk about change, and talking about going against the system, we have to be careful that we're not getting brainwashed as well. You know what I'm saying? We have to be careful of that because at one point we felt civil rights was going to be great for us.
Yeah.
At one point, even right now, if I pose the question, did civil rights really benefit black people? Even right now, people get upset even at that question. But truth be told, it was damaging. But you wouldn't have known back then.
Right.
And we all went with the crowd. And there was probably somebody that said, nah, this is going to really hurt us. What are you talking about? We want integration. Nah, this is going to hurt us. Welfare is going to hurt us. So we got to be careful we're not going with the crowd. You know what I'm saying? So I applaud any person, but specifically young black Americans who are choosing to not go with the crowd and think more critically, you know, and I encourage more people to do that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. That's truth to power, bro.
Yeah, let's just hope they're not being brainwashed, though. Real talk. Because there's a lot of that going around, too.
Hey, Black Nerd, thank you for calling through, bro.
No doubt. Thank you for having me, my man. Y'all have a great rest of the show.
You too, man.
Yo, I think, but and the thing about it is that I think I'm always going to choose to go with the other thing until I'm shown something different. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to look at it from that view. So looking at it from that view does not cause me to judge a person, whereas I'm treating them differently. You know what I'm saying? Because I think they're selling out and I really don't know. I might think that, but I'm still able to sit back and just deal with somebody objectively.
I have to look at both. Even with my news media, you know what I'm saying? I got right-wing stuff, I got left-wing stuff, I got libertarian stuff. I look at it all because I need to look on all sides.
Yeah, you do.
Because this group thinking and identity politics is real.
Yeah.
And a lot of us don't even know we caught up in it.
Yeah.
We don't even realize it. We think we not, but a lot of us are. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, yeah, that's already the show right there.
That's crazy, man.
That one
we ain't even get to what was on my timeline.
Right.
In 2020, marijuana breathalyzer supposed to be coming.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that was one of these marijuana breathalyzer, man, coming in 2020. So
that's gonna mess a lot of people up right there.
Yeah, they want to see if you driving stoned.
All right, we got a great show coming up next week, though. We have a cast coming up for this play that's coming up. Make sure you listen to Electric Drum coming up next with Yusef Shaw, 94.3 WYBC.
Peace.
Peace.
I said 3.